feeling to would-be Jeff Cluster families. We watched Monday's PPS board meeting, and we saw the wide Woodlawn slide. We know that you will use low test scores and low catchment rate as a means to shut our doors. What we didn't see in that slide is you're owning the inequitable policies that are dismantling this cluster one school at a time. What we didn't see is the slide where you take ownership for not investing in our school for many years, despite the knowledge that we were struggling with both of those. But still, you tell us that this radical change is what is needed to benefit our students. We do not buy it. We do not believe this is true. School report cards reveal the sad truth. The truth that schools in the Jeff cluster do not do well by their lower income students of color. This is a problem that needs to be fixed. The schools you propose to bus our children to don't have report cards any better than our own when it comes to our These options do not deal with the underlying reason that this continues to be the case. Closing our school, moving these kids around again, only perpetuates that fact. It is our belief that closing Woodlawn is a great mistake, one that will hurt some of Portland's most vulnerable students. Our school community wants more time to turn things around. We have a good momentum going here. The Oregon Department of Education has designated us a priority school. If they feel we are a priority, why don't you? We want time to utilize the help and interventions that have been denied us many years. We want time to invite our diverse community into a conversation about what program would best benefit our entire community. This community is committed to partnering together to revive and renew Woodlawn School. Give us that chance. Join us. Finally, the options put forth by the Enrollment Balancing Committee are very callous towards vulnerable student populations like ours. We believe there are better options to be explored, options that could reflect the equity policy that should be interlaced in every part of this process. Members of our community have been exploring viable possibilities that do not include closing Woodlawn. We will be sharing those with the EB team and the PPS board. We hope that you will reflect on them carefully and choose to keep Woodlawn School open.
Are there others that would like to comment? Because those kinds of comments are what we're looking for. Believe it or not, we actually are looking for that kind of feedback. Let me make sure you get your answer, and then you can ask questions. Oh, okay.
I have a 12-year-old son who goes to school. He's on the autism spectrum. I know that there are probably several of you here that know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a teacher at this school that made a huge difference in his life, Mrs. Rowan. She came here. She came here from another school that's over in the Columbia Villa where I live. 6 blocks away from my house is an abandoned, empty schoolyard collecting graffiti and collecting drugs. 6 blocks in the other direction, a brand new school. So that the politicians can say how much they care about the people that don't have a lot of money. This isn't about race. It's about politics and class. It's about a group of people who don't care about us, but what they want to do is appear to care about us.
Lie to our face.
They come to us and they say, look what we need to do. How many times have you guys heard that if we just pass this one tax increase, oh, we just need this one bond measure, and then everything will be great until the next election. That's what it's all about. It's just a game. They think that we're stupid. They think that we're going to fall for the idea that all we need to do is raise a little more money and everything will be fine. They even mentioned the fact that they don't get enough fundraising for the school. Well, maybe it's because this is a low-income area. I get absolutely sick of the politician. I don't care if you're talking about liberals or conservatives or any of that. I'm just talking about people. People in this room that care about their kids, that may not have the resources of someone who lives in Southwest. We care about our kids just as much as they do.
That's true.
Right now, I'm supposed to be at work, but I took some time off for this. I don't get to go to PTA meetings and stuff because I work nights. But this was the last straw for me. I am sick and tired of our kids being abused in the name of politics.
Before you go, could she give you that answer that you asked for earlier?
Do you really expect me to believe what she has to say? This whole time, you give us two options and you tell us, oh, but this might not be what happens.
Right?
Well, then what will happen?
She put her name on it.
Well, basically, I was trying not to be disrespectful in my answer.
Well, you are being disrespectful
Yes, you
by
are.
being deceitful.
Right.
It's
You don't live over here anymore. Remember?
It is disrespectful.
Actually, sir, I just basically, I don't have any problems dealing with it, but personal attacks are not okay. I don't have any children for other reasons.
Yeah.
But when you ask me personally, where are my grandkids, that cuts to my core, so can we keep it a little bit?
Our kids cut to our core.
I totally get that. But
I don't know if you do. I really don't believe that you get it.
I'm telling you, this is where did I live? Right over there on 18th.
Let our parents talk.
Please.
I will let your parents talk.
It is disrespectful for them to come to our house and
That's
tell
right.
us what is good for our kids. It is disrespectful for people who make a whole lot more money than the teachers and than us to come down here and tell us how we don't have enough money for your kids. How about this? How about the state of Oregon cuts every administrator's salary and puts the money in the school where it belongs?
Yes.
There's an idea for you.
Hi, I'm one of Lavon's new parents. My name's Heather, and I also work for the district. I'm a speech language pathologist. I'm a speech language pathologist, and I work at Grant High School, and I'm a new parent to Lavon. My son goes here. He's also, we came from across the river from a school district that has a very good reputation, very high test scores, very high SES, and it did not serve my son who is on the autism spectrum.
Right.
He is a different learner, and he needs people who understand that. And I searched far and wide, being this is what I do for a living, look to support kids with autism. And this is the school that I picked in the Portland area.
That's
I
right.
came here to look Portland Public has a new speech pathologist because Woodlawn is teaching the kids with autism right, and it is the best place in this entire city as far as I'm concerned for kids with autism. They are superstars. Let's talk about what's going on right at this school. That is going on right. The whole PBIS, the behavior strategies that are new. I just see such wonderful things here, and I've worked in the schools for a long time. I want to know, here's what I want to know. I want to know what it is, because I don't have a lot of resources. I'm a teacher. I'm a single parent. But I have enough resources that I wanted to move into this neighborhood and dedicate them to this school. I do not want to move into this neighborhood if the school's going to disappear, nor do I want to move into any of the other Northeast Portland neighborhoods if it's going to disappear. My kid doesn't do well with transitions, okay? So what I want to know is, what is it going to take? What do we need to do as parents to get Portland Public to go, you know what? We see a lot good going on here. We're going to give it more time. Because I want to do that. I want to do that. Is there an answer? Is there something that we can do that gets this off the table? I don't want it on the table anymore.
I would just like to quickly respond to that. I think what you're doing is what you need to do. Sorry. I'm Mary Kirsten. I'm the director of special ed. I'm also a little shaken. I don't want to be the classroom. Okay, because it is successful. So I encourage you to continue to speak out. Come to the board meeting. We're going to have another meeting next Wednesday night for just special ed folks, and I'm hoping that you'll host here, that I can talk to you about that. It was just getting scheduled today. We have the date, so we don't have the location yet and where that will be, but
it will be here. We'll work it out. There's no other place it could be.
So next Wednesday night here,
These mics, you almost have to hold up to your mouth.
My name is Anna King, and we also started this year with Donna Hearing.
And like way up kindergarten.
There you go.
Just think influenza.
And I just have a question, because it's been all about numbers and grades and enrollment numbers. And I know that this school was changed several years ago to middle school from K-5, but the city or PPS didn't bring enough resources or actually supplies or anything to support this. So we're looking at these numbers every year, go over and over. We don't get enough funds because we don't have enough enrollment numbers, but it's never-ending circle, and I wonder, what do you guys do about that? This is the result of it closing the school, because it seems to be really your fault.
That's right, Anna.
Earlier, and the report from your PTA president, what can you do? First of all, I'm pleased to see this number here. We've had 3 meetings in this building, and this is the first time I'm seeing this number show up. So that clearly is one of the things that would, if you're asking what would it take, it is having your voice heard. Because in the multiple things that are coming up, your showing up matters. Because remember,
Yeah, I didn't feel that way before today.
The burden and responsibility that you continue to put on parents and the staff of those that are working to support the kids.
Sometimes 2 jobs.
We have continued to show up, and we have continued to provide our input. We just did it last year when the closure happened with Humboldt. We did it last year when it was Harriet Tubman. We did it before when it was Applegate. Continually, you gut out what is most precious and what matters and what's important is the kids. And you invite us in to share, to give our input, passion, and then just as it did with last year with Tubman, you guys closed it down, and it's like, how do you expect for that trust to be restored? You're asking us to give it another go, and we're watching the same thing happen again and again and again. You don't think that we're burnt out? You don't think that we're tired?
Part two of the answer is, you see up there the 40%? That means that 60% of your neighbors have made other decisions.
That's not true.
That's
not true. They stayed in the area. Still in Jefferson.
We count the number of children
Jefferson
we have the number of children who live in this neighborhood, tracked by address, as to which school they go to. So you are asking us why they stay in the Jefferson?
I'm a potential parent, and I want to speak about that. Right.
So would you like to filter all that? Would you like to look at that and say, well, why don't you go to the neighborhood school?
Right.
Right.
When you have a conversation with whoever decides to come forth and have a conversation, and part of that conversation includes not only, that's why your voice is coming forward, saying, I heard in the presentation of the PTA president, we need time. We're assuming that includes
information.
We need time to, one, get more information. Two, begin to figure out ways to deal with more recruitment to get some of those, because the flip of you all getting more of the Woodlawn students back at Woodlawn, they are feeding Chief Joseph, Fabia,
They're also feeding a lot of charter schools and Southeast schools.
Parents tell you a few reasons why. My daughter is Eloise. She is 5, and she will be in kindergarten in the fall. Parents and staff and students in Woodland, as many of you, I come here Friday mornings, so one day a week. I don't work. I'm a single mom. I have 2 kids. Alex is 2 and a half, and he's not here tonight with his dad. And I will tell you one of the reasons why I am prepared to become part of the 60%. It's not a lack of confidence in these kids. Hi, Rusty. It's not a lack of confidence in these parents, Anna, Angel, Sherelle. It's not a lack of confidence in your teachers, Aubrey, Miss. You guys are unbelievable. I started coming to this school because I've been coming to these meetings for years, and people have said, if you're thinking about leaving, come to this school. I was a student teacher at Boise Elliott. I have a master's degree in education. I've been in Vernon. I volunteered in Vernon when I couldn't even volunteer here because I couldn't reach anybody here. I've been in the schools, and when I come here every Friday morning to see a school that I would be happy to be a part of. When I come to these meetings and I look at these proposals and I see nothing that gives me faith in PPS's commitment to this cluster and to committing to stability for my kids and your kids, I'm ready to vote with my feet. And my feet will give you a vote of no confidence, not in this school, not in these kids, not in my community where I've lived for 13 years, but in Portland Public School District.
So, I also know that the district has pieces that we own of this, probably a lot of it. So one of the things that actually, if you watch the board meeting, on Monday, that was one of the things that one of the board members raised was, what about these proposals make people excited and wanting to stay? So we are tasked with, if we kept Woodlawn open, and we change that option, what we would need to create here that would excite people to make them not want to vote with their feet and to have their kids remain in Woodlawn and potentially draw back some of the 60% back into the building. So that's already part of it.
Dollars, it is your commitment instead of building other buildings and putting our kids all around town and busing them away from their neighborhood so they won't be invested in their neighborhood. I grew up and I was bused out of here. And I'm telling you, I didn't know the kids here, I didn't know the people here, and in the community where I was bused, I was not a part of that community. I was invited to parties, I was invited to dinners. I was ostracized. I'm sorry.
Because I can hear you, I'm sorry.
I was ostracized. I was bussed out. And I did not know the people in my neighborhood. I did not know my community at all. They bussed me out, and they bussed me to Southeast, and the kids there were well off, and their parents, they had 2-parent families and the whole income level, and those kids didn't bond with me. They didn't invite my friends, my other poor friends, to their houses or to go to things. We didn't become culturally a part or socially a part of that group either. So what you get is someone who really isn't bonded either way. And I moved back to Northeast Portland and stayed in this area because I wanted my daughter to grow up in a school with the kids in her school and have a steady environment with her friends here, so that when she gets up, and everyone knows, it's who you know. It's who you know in the workforce, it's who you know in your community that will support you when you become able to go to school and college and jobs. I mean, everybody is talking about closing schools and opening up another new school next door. Take that money. If you can buy property and a building and construction, put that money here. Why can't we just put it here and get more programs, get more things to make these parents want to stay here? I don't blame parents. If I was looking at this right now and I didn't have the commitment to my community as I have because I grew up here, if I was a new parent coming into this neighborhood, I would leave my kid in the school where I was at before too. I would do that too because it's not, I don't see that commitment. Just like the place, I don't see any commitment from the school board in this school. The ceilings messed up. I mean, parents that come and paint walls. I mean, come on. There's enough money to get the school painted. There's enough. I come out here, the grounds aren't even mowed. I mean, give me a break. Where's that money going?
So, resources better, commitment that's evident,
Yes, definitely.
and resource our programs over time.
Yes.
The one thing I didn't say that also came out right along with the improvement and enhancement of the middle grades was that the district needed to have, if I'm the district tonight, I'm taking all of that, I'm the district, the district needed to show its commitment and make it evident across all these schools. Is that
Yeah, but the thing is, it's the talk. It's the difference between
talking,
doing the talk, all this talk over these years, and it always comes up to closing the low-income school to somehow support the other schools. And I really honestly, I mean, it's just like plain as the nose on your face. Taking these kids from this school and mushing them around to these other schools, they're going to become invisible. And they're not going to get what they need. And they're going to become...
Setting them back.
And you're going to come back again in one of these other schools that you're like saying, okay, let's put all the kids in that school. They're going to be up for it. As long as they're in this neighborhood or in the north area where the low income, they're going to be up there. Soon there's not going to be anything but vacant lots. Big vacant lots around here, and all our kids are going to be going out somewhere else to go to school. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. I don't understand how you can say 1,100 and whatever 14 kids in the school. If that school is doing good with 459 or 650, why are you going to put 400 more kids with low scores in that school? That school's not going to survive that. How are you going to say that they're going to be able to survive that? You're saying that that school is doing good and their kids are doing good. They're doing good the way they are right now.
That's right.
Right now. You're going to put 400 more kids in there? That's going to overwhelm the school. It's going to overwhelm those people. Then they're going to be burnt out. Then the level's going to come down, and the next time it's going to be them on the block.
That's right.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to be the third parent that has a child with autism, and my child goes here. She's been here since first grade. If I lose Woodlawn, that's going to be the third school she'll go to since she started school. she craves stability, structure, routines.
She
gets
needs
that,
it.
you know, but as for a program, the CB program, which is a communication behavior program that they have here, it's the only one that they got that works from kindergarten all the way through middle school. That's huge importance. If you could tell me, you know, that my daughter's going to stay in one place for a certain amount of time and be able to make friendships with everybody else's kids, you know, and then learn something from everybody, and somebody learns something from her, I would say yes, that's stability. But now, come to find out, that's not going to happen, you know. Even if it goes to a K-5 again, which my oldest daughter was here during the K-5. This K-8 system, I think, is working here right now. I like knowing that we have older kids that can talk to these youngsters. But what's going to happen to that program? You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to find a staff that they have here anywhere else. Like, this staff makes this classroom work. I noticed that Mary got emotional, and this woman works hard, and she does a great thing in her job, you guys, so don't give her a hard time. She's an amazing woman. I'm sure that you are too, Mary, but not at the moment. The one thing that I'm worried about is, and wondering why we're coming to this point, because why didn't Woodlawn get help with the zone priority stuff before? Why did we get skipped in that time period, 2010 or was it 2009? But yeah, that would have helped us. 2011, you guys have the racial equity educational policy. We're a priority. That's kind of everything that says explains everything that Woodlawn is and all the help that we need. But have we seen any of that help? You know, and so now we're becoming a priority school again. But it seems like the priority is to either throw us away and get rid of another school. You know, I mean, what's wrong with our side of this area? Why are we losing all these families? You know, I love the fact that my daughter gets to come to all these different colors in school, and I love the fact that that's here. But it seems like those schools that are like that, they're being tossed away like garbage. I don't want to see that happen anymore.
Okay, louder. I hardly ever have to be told to get louder.
I was told that too.
All right. My statement is directly with regard to the equity policy that Angel just referenced, that our school board adopted in 2011. I'm just going to read my statement. The PPS Racial Educational Equity Policy adopted by the PPS School Board in June of 2011 states that, quote, rather than perpetuating disparities, PPS must address and overcome inequity and institutional racism, providing all students with the support and opportunity to succeed. It is a powerful document, and I'm still waiting for my district to start following it.
That's right.
The Woodlawn community does not believe that central office has demonstrated a sufficient commitment to the success of this school. Rather, as we find ourselves finally, seriously undertaking strategic school reform and improvement, PPS leadership has blindsided this community with changes that undermine the progress we've made so far. And I quote again from the policy here, the district shall welcome and empower students and families, including underrepresented families of color, including those whose first language may not be English, and as essential partners in their students' education, school planning, and district decision-making. Despite the insistence that central office has learned from their past mistakes, all evidence points to an unwillingness to engage affected stakeholders in a meaningful way. This has not been the process that we were promised. Public comment has been routinely stifled by strict protocols designed to segregate participants and discourage dissenting opinions. Direct and legitimate questions are dismissed or are met with vague and conflicting responses. Rather than empowering our families and creating a forum for courageous conversations about the challenges our schools face,
Your team has given us reason to feel skeptical and distrustful of your methods and your motives. Chief Joe, Oakley Green, and Woodlawn's meetings were all scheduled at the same time tonight. I know, I'm just so surprised. It has effectively prevented us from coming together as a community to share our varying perspectives.
Say that again.
These tactics undermine and erode trust in PPS leadership and are directly at odds with its equity policy. The enrollment balancing team is selectively listening. Why, for instance, is the relocation of pre-K classrooms from our schools to a regional early learning center at Humboldt still listed as a future possibility? I've yet to find one single parent who supports that idea. Pre-K teachers in this cluster are unanimously against it, and there's been no explanation whatsoever of how that configuration would benefit our students. Ought to be the option of last resort. If teachers gave up on struggling students the way our leadership has given up on us, where are the interventions? What significant contributions has PPS made at Woodlawn to remedy the chronic issues with our capture rate? Dismantling our school and casting our students out to an uncertain future is not the solution, is it?
No. Hell no.
The answer is for our district leadership to demonstrate a commitment to neighborhood schools and to provide the resources and support necessary for them to thrive. Show us something, anything, that actually addresses the fundamental causes of declining enrollment in the Jefferson area. Bring us a scenario that outlines the specific steps that PPS will take, embedded with measures of accountability, to address the inequity of our transfer policy.
That's right.
Start a courageous conversation, and you will find the key to balancing enrollment in this cluster.
That's right.
That was really awesome.
Operator, could you make sure that Rudy gets a copy of your thing? That you can just send it electronically? Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry I was so rude earlier. The way I should have gone.
Totally understand it. When I'm the district, I get it.
Okay, so my name is Aaron. I'm a PTA president by accident at Beach School, and I came out here because I met your PTA president through this process, and we're really lucky to have her, and she did exactly what she needed to accomplish. I don't have a prepared statement. Mine was actually prepared on the signs out there. Mine was a lot shorter than the last person. But don't give up is a pretty good message for you guys and for PPS leadership. I think it's lacking at this point. I think you've identified that as a problem. I got really close to this situation, and I made score after score of meetings. I went to 7 of the 11 enrollment balancing meetings that they had at individual schools. I went to the Jefferson Cluster Forum. And I watched this collection of community input, and it wound up in 2 3-inch red and black binders in the board office on a cart underneath. I sat for 3.5 hours and I read through. Nowhere anything about Woodlawn closing.
That's right.
Okay, hold on. Let's make it better. And nowhere was there closure in the 6 very loose scenarios that don't include you guys having to travel further to school, no transportation impact, no cost impact. Is any money being saved? None of that. We were told we were going to get these 2 scenarios, and they were going to be, quote, this is on the robocall. You guys get that? Concrete scenarios for balancing them. And you still see no transportation impacts. No information about programming.
No details, period.
No details, but programming is really key because the board continually asks the enrollment balancing team for this information. What will this middle school look like? What will the programming look like? And we found out at the last board meeting, they don't talk to each other. They actually don't know. And here's the sad part. You sign You signed this and your signature is on it. You authored this. And if you are unable to talk to the other people at GEDC, come on, what are we doing here? So, I really think you guys are doing the right thing by controlling the room. Don't let this process happen. Don't let it happen. I watched them collect information. They did not hear us. There's no talk of Spanish immersion coming here. Environmental program, something that's an attractive force to the school. This school in particular has been kind of so keep this up. Don't let it. Oh, the last point, you're not alone in this. Cheryl and I, we've talked to all the other PTA presidents. Nobody's opposed to this.
Thank you.
Let's stop it before these are not the two options. They're calling them options. These are not the two options. So let's have that discussion and keep this process. Stop it.
Eric, that's just one misstep. We had multiple meetings across multiple departments in the CES, so I just have to make that correction. So I'm not exactly sure the source of the
board answered the department what you couldn't answer their question. We've been doing this since last May. People here found out 2 days ago.
But there are no solutions.
Watch the board, everyone watch the last board meeting on YouTube, PBS channel, there's a channel, search it, the board meeting, the last, what is the date? Monday. What's the date?
My name is Nancy Smith. I don't have a prepared statement, but I'm here to comment on 2 or 3 issues and things I've heard so far. I have 4 children. They're 21 years apart in age. I've lived in the Jefferson district while all of the children have gone there, and these things have gone on with every single one of my children. We had reconstitution back when my older kids were there with Jeff. One thing after the other, after the other. I served on the Jefferson design team. If you remember that, a few years ago, the whole farce of the Jefferson design team, the community was so involved. I don't know if any of you were at those meetings. We had Jefferson High School filled to the brim. People were so involved. They gave their voice. They were passionate. They said what they wanted. What happened, because I personally experienced it, is those who gave voice to what the people in the community of Jefferson wanted were berated, belittled, yes, by the superintendent at that time, by board members, by people in the district. They went ahead and did it anyway. They did not listen. We haven't seen this kind of participation in this district for years. This has been done to people in the Jefferson cluster for years, folks. Every few years. You can just count on it happening again. Now here I am again. I thought I was kind of through with PTS and this. I have a son who attends Woodlawn, and he is on the spectrum. He's been here since he was, sorry, I just lost my purse. He's been here since he was in pre-K. I told him I had to go to a meeting tonight, and he asked me where I was going, and I said I was going to talk to the people about not closing down Woodlawn. He jumped up and down, he gave me a great big old hug. The tears started flowing. And he said, thank you, Mommy, thank you, Mommy. Well, if any of you, I know you know Cedric, you know he's been here since 3 days. You know that this child, what a dramatic turnaround because of the special ed department at this school and this staff. And the same, and my grandchildren go here. This district has been mistreating the families of this cluster now for at least 2 generations that I have witnessed. And to hear a comment like, only so many percentage choose to come to your school of the cluster, like somehow that is our fault.
That's right.
That's the family's fault, or that's the children's fault. It's ridiculous. PBS has a transfer policy, and they know this. A transfer policy that has pulled children away. We're in a catch-22. All you are doing and continuing to do is rearrange the chairs on the Titanic. Every few years, you give them new issues. We'll have a dual campus. We're going to go to pre-8s, and the rationale for that was fewer transitions, at that time. And now here we are again. And we're taking a school, I think one of only 2 schools with a special ed program for autism like we have, and talk about taking the most vulnerable and making them transition out when this is their home. It's their lives that you're talking about here. I read the equity policy recently also, and it talked about barriers. Well, again, we've been fighting for years for an equitable transfer policy. I have taught for 30 years in the Beaverton School District. Beaverton School District does not operate like this school district does. They don't believe in have and have not schools. And it doesn't matter what school you work in there, the kids are going to it's going to be equitable across the board. I know for me, I'm appalled. I read Aubrey, what an awesome statement. I read that equity policy. It's a beautiful document, beautifully written, just right on the money. Where is the concern for every single child in this district? I am an educator, and like I say, I am just absolutely appalled at the treatment of the families. And then I hear this, come to meetings, hear your voice heard. We've done it over and over and over and over and over. It doesn't matter. They go ahead and continue to shut our schools down. And then in a few years, and then the rationale keeps changing. I remember and I'm going to stop here, I'm rambling, but I remember at the time of the design team when the community was adamantly opposed to all those changes, when Vicki Phillips was here, board members saying, oh, but we have to present a united front with our superintendent. It's essential that we present a united front with what our superintendent wants. Then, when Carol Smith just a couple years ago proposed finally giving us a comprehensive high school back in our neighborhood, because we don't have one now. Now my neighborhood high school is Roosevelt. And then when she presented, this, that the community supported, then all of a sudden the board didn't need to present a united front with the superintendent. So it doesn't seem to matter. It just doesn't seem to matter when it comes to the Jefferson cluster, and there is no trust. We've had it up to here. So I said I would agree with Aubrey. Let's look at the board policy, look at the equity policy, get rid of these barriers. Do something about the systemic problem that your enrollment transfer policy is causing. Let's get strong neighborhood schools in every community in this school district and start serving all of the children, and stop making the same families go over this heartache over and over and over and over. For some of us that have been around for a while, it's time for it to stop.
It's enough.
Tomorrow we have our big Martin Luther King assembly, and it's just to me a little bit ironic that Harriet stood here and said that part of the reason the families don't come here is race. And I want to know why in 2013 that's okay, and that Portland Public Schools is allowing people to select and segregate.
Right.
comments that parents made, both at login, the gathering, that's not what the district is saying. People stood up and said, let's get honest about it. That's underlying all of this is about race, which is not too much far away from some of the comments you all have made. They're saying that low income, predominantly communities that have large brown and black populations are PCB, the communities that the district has always typically come back to.
We got a target on our back for some reason.
Right, and that's what they meant by that comment. It is the big
Yeah,
that's what the
it's
comment meant.
No, I'm saying that because the transfer policy allows it.
Oh, I.
Yeah.
Parents are creating segregation.
Right. Yes.
They're creating it. And Portland Public allows it with their transfer policy.
Yes. Supporting it.
Can I ask a question? Yes. I just want to know, are you guys trying to empty our buildings so Fabian can have it while they're new buildings?
No.
No.
Please.
No, this doesn't have anything to do with lobbying. What we're planning on doing this fall is actually bringing in portables for a while to be able to.
How are they going to learn with construction? That's a BS.
Where is that money coming from?
Like a school that was supposed to be just a temporary school in the first place. It wasn't supposed to be a permanent school. I thought it was supposed to be a temporary school, and then those kids were supposed to be, you know, pushed out into the community to the other schools. But I thought it was supposed to be just a temporary.
You're talking about years back.
When it first,
Right.
because it's like that's what we're saying. It's changing.
Over time.
Over time, it's consistently changing to now we're going to have, instead of this being a temporary school, just so that the kids can have, we have so many kids that we have to have a temporary school. Now we don't have so many kids, but we're going to
All of
still
that
keep a temporary
the
school.
bond that they just, who do you want to
I just want to make sure which woman has waited for 20
got it.
minutes from my school.
But the bond covers the cost of that. This is not about emptying Woodlawn to make a space for to go when they decide to.
That's what you
actually
say
do bond
today.
renovation. But the levy that people just voted for and that just passed covers the cost of the modernization and what they do up to the modernization.
I actually have a question regarding the parking because it makes me wonder how come, because we all voted for that bond and they're going to get rebuilt, but as far as I know, when you go on their public school website, it says they are in cooperation with the Concordia Private School University, so they are getting extra money from there. So why did they get the bond for the rebuilding of the school if they have the extra private money, but not the school that doesn't have any support?
Yeah.
It's a joint effort, so it's a joint effort of the bond money that the district is bringing forward and the money that Concordia is also bringing. And the science lab, remember what I said before, if after all the input and feedback comes back, it turns out Woodlawn is not a school that turns out being a school that we don't do the closure piece. The science lab, someone just asked about the science lab piece. The science lab piece that was in the bond would still be present in the bond. So those things that are in the bond that have been outlined for all the schools in the Jefferson cluster, those things will still occur.
Yeah. And then.
Okay, and you know, I'm Pam Lee, and we just came this year to Woodlawn, and you know me from Lockwood Green. Tammy. Okay.
Yeah.
Where my son was pushed out of Lockwood Green last year because they would not service his disabilities. And you said at my meeting, I never got my principal and administrative meeting, which you know. But, and now my son just started here in October. Now I'm hearing that we're
Can we
going
stop just for a minute? License plate 123 EGD.
A tourist, like a green tourist, you're blocking
Green
the driveway,
tourist,
they're
you're
about to...
blocking a driveway they're going to tow you.
I know what probably neighbor it is.
Yep.
Better run. Tammy, you gotta hold it this close.
Yeah. Rub it like this, and then.
Okay, so, my kid just came here this year, now I'm hearing about possibly Woodlawn closing. I kind of have a question about the whole access thing, because in this whole process, access has not been present. And you already know I know about access because my older kids went there.
Are you talking access to program or access?
Access to program.
Okay.
So why is that not being introduced in part of these scenarios, and why aren't the access parents being included in this process too? Because you guys have already promised them a building a couple years ago, right? So they're getting promised a building, we're getting buildings taken away. You know what I'm saying?
Access is part of the scenario.
I know that, but if you're saying as far as resources, not having the resources, they have low numbers too. So I know that's why you want to try to combine them and stuff, but it doesn't make sense to me. If you don't have the resources for us, why are you having the resources for the other programs?
It's not part of the deficit cluster.
Yeah, that's why.
They feed into grants, but now you're proposing to move them over into into the Jeff cluster, who is already fighting each other. Each of the Jeff schools are fighting for the little bit of resources that you guys are giving. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. You know, the other thing I was going to say is about your
So just let me try to understand. So are you saying we should not include access, or?
I'm asking why. Why is there a transfer from the grant cluster into the Jeff cluster? If you're saying that you don't have enough resources for the schools that are already in the Jeff cluster, that makes no sense.
Okay, I've got to interrupt one more time. People in the no parking zone have 5 minutes, or they're going to ticket your cars, and that would be out front.
I don't know what that is. Who called the flippers?
It clearly stated no parking out front.
Right out front.
Yeah. And in front of the building.
Wow. I'm down the
Sorry. Hey, we've got 2 more people that want to speak. Ma'am?
So today, I got the news flash about the possibility of the school closing. I'm guessing I'm the oldest person in the room that went to Woodlawn. I probably went to Woodlawn the first year it was open. We've had 3 generations here.
Thank you. Woo! Thank you.
And another person here, we both went to the school together. We take a lot of pride in this school. We consider it to be a real asset. And for me to see that flashed over the news on my email really shocked me. I was here for another meeting, our condo meeting. I was asked to come in here and make a quick statement. Don't close this school. You try to close this school. Don't close this school. And we don't need to be talking about comparisons. What's going on with this school or what's going on with that school. We need to fight to keep this school.
That's right.
I'm Riley. I'm Sherelle Russell's daughter. And I wanted to ask you a question about the portable money, the money that's going to build the portables.
That's
Why
right.
isn't that money going to the low priority schools that need a new computer lab, new updated books? Why is that not happening?
That's right. Answer that.
Excellent question. The reason, but when you have bond money, and you get all out to the voters, and we ask the voters for money to do certain things, we can't then, after we get the money, shift the money to do other things.